Welcome, viewer, wherever you are. This is yet another moment that we are meeting on this show, the Cardinal Talk Show, where we talk on matters that touch our politics as a people of this country. Yes, it's a time that we normally delve deep into matters that actually concern the politics of this country in terms of its development, its present position, and even its future. This is why we sit with different people here, different leaders that bring us so much insight, analysis, and where possible reviews of circumstances. And today is that one particular day that I'm honored to be having one such guest here, who is an elected member of the county assembly of this county of Nairobi. He will get his time to give his introductions. However, is not a very new name, is such a very popular name that is only within the political circles, and more especially when it comes to party matters. And I know he's a guy that you'd love to hear more about. Welcome, I'm Nico Kelo, and please have pleasure to join us. Habari yako mheshimiwa?
Nzuri sana.
Karibu sana kwenye show.
Nashukuru.
This is the Cardinal Talk Show.
Wow, powerful.
So it's time that perhaps those people who don't know you,
yes,
who perhaps have only heard about you,
yeah,
can now get to know you in real names.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jaturu Wasolnango.
You also know that?
I know a few.
Yeah, Jaturu Wanango.
Jaturu Wanango. So I'm very happy.
Great.
I'm very proud.
Yeah.
For the first time I'm invited to Lolwe Tv.
Yeah.
And I'm honored, really.
Yeah.
And for the viewers, this is a great achievement. And I pray that it continues as it is.
Yeah.
For those who may not know my names are Peter Imato, a.k.a. Jatesa Chielkende.
A.k.a. Jatesa Chielkende. The only Teso.
The only Teso.
Why the only Teso?
One in Nairobi.
In Nairobi?
Yes. So I come from Makongeni,
yeah,
ward. I represent the people of Makongeni, Kaloleni, Botela. This is my second term.
Yeah.
I happen also serving as being currently the serving minority chief whip for the largest party Eastern Central Africa. That's the Orange Democratic Movement.
ODM.
ODM, in the capital city of Kenya, called Nairobi.
Yeah.
I lead a team of 58 MCAs. Currently, we are minorities, courtesy of the previous election. Yeah. And we're ready to go. And we're happy.
You're happy?
Yes.
So in Nairobi, ODM has a number of up to 58 MCAs, yeah, out of the possible 85.
Out of the possible. No, we are 123.
Including the nominated ones.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's a huge number of representatives in Nairobi for ODM.
But next time we want to go back where we are.
The majority.
Yes.
Or the previous administration, you guys were the majority.
Yeah.
So you are trying to scheme on how to come back to the majority
of course,
position.
This is another issue we messed up in a way. Fielding different candidates, different parties. We messed up by about four seats.
So this time you guys think you want to go it alone?
Alone is an ODM. For MCS Nairobi, we go alone. It's ODM.
Are you going to make it anyway? Because I know it's coalitions.
Yeah? We have the numbers to make. On these other seats, let's lose from the president going up, the prime minister, the BBI, but here we can handle it comfortably as ODM.
You can handle it comfortably?
Perfectly well.
So if you map out Nairobi, you think ODM is supposed to marshal more seats than any other political party?
Than any other political party, any given time.
At any given time.
At any given time.
Wow, that's very, you sound so confident about that, and it's interesting. Now, today we invited you here to just delve into matters Nairobi politics, and especially Nairobi County politics, where you sit as a member of the County Assembly. Yes, since you were elected in 2013, I think this is the time that now you have a huge responsibility as a minority chief whip in the County Assembly.
That's true.
What does it entail, and what have you achieved as a person?
First of all, being a minority whip of the party, it entails to be in constant communication with the party and to make sure the membership of the party is in tandem with the party manifesto and the party ideals. You know, it's not unique to find a person being elected in a party but does not understanding the creed of the party. So that's the primary function of the whip, also to make sure all the members of the party are inclined to the party ideals at any given time. And more importantly, also to assign them duties like committees according to your professionalism, according to the way you can suit in a particular committee, so that you can, despite being opposition, you must be able to impart into that committee something. You know, Parliament does not work on a plenary. Yeah. Most parliaments work on committee stages. Yeah. If you get your members wrongly in a wrong committee, the output from that committee will be a disaster. So that's the work of the whip, to make sure I place every member of my party to a relevant committee according to his capacity.
Okay.
So that when you're in that committee, that's where arguments are.
That's where
the gist of the arguments in Parliament are. It's in the committee stage.
Okay.
Parliament is about 15% to 20%. What you see on TV,
the plenary is just about 15%.
15%. Yeah. But 75 to 80% of work in Parliament is done from the committee stage.
From the committee stage.
Yes, and that's the work of the whip, to make sure placement of members according to their capability
is done in accordance with the party ideals.
Yes.
Well, now you've been in this position now for some good time, and I believe you were also some moment in the majority side.
Yes.
of the county assembly. Now you are on the minority side. Judging from where you sit, do you believe the Jubilee administration, which is currently the majority in the Nairobi County Assembly, and its leadership in the executive, Nairobi County, have they done what, in your opinion, is good work, administratively speaking?
If you go to history of this county since 2017, I've been so much on consistency, saying that there's a problem in the Jubilee leadership in the county.
Yeah.
And it may surprise many that we are less by 11 members. But as ODM party, despite being less by 11 members, we've been managed to put Jubilee on check, to an extent impeaching the governor of a Jubilee party.
I thought that was a common front that you guys agreed.
It wasn't a common front. You can remember from last year, February, when I moved the first impeachment motion, it was primarily an individual membership motion.
So it was a private member's motion to impeach Governor Sonko.
Motion. It was not a party motion. I want to clarify this because some people want to apportion ODM blames which are not there.
Your fellow MCs have always taken this as one of their success stories. And here you are saying it was a private member's motion that was
I collected 11,884 documents and evidence upon which Sonko, the first impeachment motion I placed on. Then came the second one. My leader, who's Michael Ogada, the minority leader, decided to move another private motion. It was not a party motion. We want our people to understand, so that not to apportion a blame to the party. If you have to portion a blame on the issue of impeachment, portion a blame to an individual member, because the standing order is very clear. There is a party motion, there's a private motion, then there's a public petition before Parliament. This was a private motion moved by the leader of minority.
At first, it was you from ODM. Secondly, it was Ogada.
Yes.
Again from ODM.
ODM, not Jubilee.
So it's said that the majority leader Guyo and you guys perhaps were working in some scheme or a syndicate rather, to see off Sonko because of bad blood between perhaps the majority leader and Sonko then.
You know, Parliament works in consultation.
Yeah.
If I have to convince the other side, it is the move of the motion who asks the other side, help, these are facts I have. And Ogada did a good job.
Yeah.
And his way.
Yeah.
Making sure the facts were right.
To impeach
and the evidence were right.
Yeah.
And we sold to the Jubilee party. Ogada sold the counterpart. I'm moving this as a leader of minority. Yeah. And the majority side also was saying, indeed, what you guys are raising, we can't hide out from it. So they had no choice. And we said, for the good of Nairobi, the way you brought all these things before the table, then I have no choice than to support. Because by that time, it's not the majority leader who decides how the members will vote or the minority leader. It is an individual private motion mover who has to convince individual member. Yeah. And by that time, Ogada is convinced almost 3/4 of the assembly. It's like the one for February. If it was not intervention, I would have moved a motion and impeached Sonko in February last year.
February last year.
Yes. Because they convinced totally around 103 members.
You've spoken about some 11,000 something dossier that actually you put together, you compiled, that made sense to everybody in the county assembly to impeach
in the entire country.
How did you do the work? Just how did you initiate and do the work to its conclusion? Because talking about 11,000 pieces of evidence, that is, to me, it's humongous.
It's big. It was 400 copies of documents.
Just on
400 bundles.
For that short period of time that he was the governor of Nairobi.
I took my time.
Yeah.
For me, I took my time. And for the viewers, they must understand I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. And Seventh-day Adventists don't rush. and they go
No,
into conviction.
why are you invoking SDA?
Because I'm an SDA, and I want to be very clear.
Is it matters of faith or matters of
matter of faith
responsibility as an elected official?
You know, when I become a politician, some people asked me, I've never seen a Seventh-day Adventist or a politician. You also go and become a rogue man.
Yeah.
And I told them, no, I'm a professional religious politician.
Professional religious politician.
Yes. I am going with my faith. Okay. That when something is wrong, it's wrong. And I'll tell you in your face, this one is wrong. Yeah. It doesn't matter the position you hold.
Yeah.
When we started this mission, I went to Sonko's office and told him, hey, Governor, you are running this county in a dog mentality management style.
Yeah.
This is not the right way to run a capital city, like the Somalia of 1990s. You need to change your tact, or else I'll not have a choice than to impeach you.
Yeah.
Because it's a capital city, it's not a village county.
Yeah.
And I give them the facts. These are the reasons. I'm saying there's stealing here, there's corruption here, there's mismanagement of public institutions, there are no systems in your administration, there are this. And I told him on his face. And he rubbished off. And I started a mission. And the mission was to prove to Nairobians that the minority party can stand for something, not just be counted as a minority party.
So, from my question, your assessment of the Jubilee administration was just disastrous because you went as far as impeaching them, which means it was
not
such a one thing.
I said Sonko was the biggest mistake for this capital city from the onset. It was a mistake.
Sonko got the highest number of votes for any elected politician in any county in this country. Do you wanna suggest that
how many votes did Edwin Sifuna get after coming from Bungoma running for the Senate of Nairobi? How many votes did Sifuna get?
Around 500, over 500,000.
Over 500,000 votes.
Yes.
Okay. And he's a young man who vied in Bungoma, lost primaries. And then the party saw his potential. He can be a senator. He came 2 months to election and he got 500,000 votes. Okay. What is this so unique for Sonko getting 800,000 votes after staying being a member of parliament, being a senator? There's nothing unique in politics.
It's unique. I mean, the records are there. He still has that record as the most popularly elected politician ever in history.
Our president,
even with the president, even with Prime Minister Raila Odinga on this.
These are political theatrics after elections. The issue is not about how many votes you get.
Yeah. Of course, it's what you do with the mandate.
What do you do with the mandate you're given to by the people? You can see, is there anyone demonstrating that Sonko was impeached in Nairobi? The first 2 months, everybody was already done with Sonko. Because we cannot be a governor of a capital city and operate like a hooligan.
But, Sonko was saying, guys, you cannot twist me to relinquish my roles and duties that were bestowed to me by the Nairobians, wanting the executive, by the executive such that they should play it to some tune, which he didn't want to. Sonko was trying to protect the mandate of the people of Nairobi, but the executive in one way or the other felt there was need to interfere with him.
Are we not in sync with our mind and our memory in this? You remember I moved a notice of motion on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the motion was placed and Sonko was given a notification. The motion was to be dispensed off the following Tuesday as per the standing order. By Wednesday, the following week, Sonko was in State House signing the deed of transfer by himself. And he's quoted saying, Mr. President, help me run Nairobi.
Yeah.
With the famous words, cartels.
Yeah.
Even when the president was opening a railway station, he begged even revenue collection, please take it. Planning department, please take it. And by the way, the president of the Republic of Kenya is the party leader of Sonko in Jubilee. What Sonko serves, he serves at the behest of the party, what the party believes in this manifesto.
Yeah.
Not what Sonko believes as an individual. When Sonko signed the deed of transfer in the State House, honorably, I was not there. You were not there. He signed it smiling, vividly well.
He says something went wrong, and he must have been coerced into it. He was not in his right sense of mind to do it.
Is that a right leader to have? A leader will make decisions when he's intoxicated. Is it a right leader to have? That's the question Nairobi has answered. It means one day we will wake up, Nairobi has been auctioned. And then you come and tell us, all Nairobians, you are now supposed to be called the Indian city because I was intoxicated when I was signing this transfer. Assume Sonko is the president of the Republic of Kenya with the seal of a country. And then China comes and say, this country needs to be called China B. And then he signs. And then let's say it's Kenyan, sorry. We start going to international juries to
arbitrate so that.
It's not the way to run.
Okay. That anyway, you are trying to make a sense into this. If I assess what you say is that the Jubilee administration has not played to what Kenyans or Nairobians expected, and that is why there has been this. But again, looking at what was instituted, the NMS, is it better in any way?
I can tell you for free, Jubilee administration under Sonko was a disaster, as you put it. And myself, I say it was a big mistake.
Yeah. And
currently, I must give thumbs up to the president for a bit trying to correct and to give Nairobi something for the remaining term of the governorship under the Jubilee administration in this county. NMS is uncomparable to Sonko's administration. NMS, I don't go to their offices. I don't sit with them. I'm still remaining as an oversight role. But what they have done in a span of 1 year, it can be seen. People ask me, Imotok, what can be done for Nairobi? If somebody can ask me, I can say, NMS should continue.
They should continue.
They should continue. We can see a difference.
So it's a nice model.
It's a nice model.
Okay.
You may not like it because of legalese, but the truth of the fact, there is something Kenyans can smile Nairobi about NMS.
People stand sometimes and ask questions. Just how did the County Assembly of Nairobi allow a non-existent entity called NMS to usurp the roles of the governor of Nairobi? And people are here and nobody speaks.
But you see, the Intergovernmental Relations Act speaks about the transfer of functions, either from the county government or from the national government to the county government. And there are parameters upon which this has to be done.
Was it done so?
It was done. No one put a gun on Sonko, first of all, from the onset to initiate the process by signing the deed of transfer. After the deed of transfer was signed in State House before the President and the Minister for Devolution, the CS for Devolution, it was transferred back to the
National Government.
County Assembly.
So, okay, to
the County Assembly was given a period of 21 days, including Sonko himself, to do what's called public participation under the Constitution. And we went for 21 days to do public participation in all 17 sub-counties. If there is any adjustment, Sonko had a window to say, based on this, I want correction from point A to point B. There was no correction. The County Assembly under the Constitution, Article 1, the supremacy of the people, is delegated by you to us in that chamber.
Yeah.
We exercise our authority. If there is no complaint from residents, if there is no complaint from Sonko, ours which is left with us is to sanctify procedurally and pass a resolution on behalf of the people of Nairobi under Article 1 of the Constitution that now we ratify the transfer of functions and liabilities of key 4 functions to Nairobi Metropolitan Services, which was done under the law. Look at this. Sonko moved to court through proxies.
Yeah.
And in court, they didn't give facts before the court. Yeah. When the assembly moved to court to table the evidence that we did this procedurally according to the Intergovernmental Relations Act, we did according to parliamentary practices and precedent set, this is what we did. Justice Maureen found the petition before the court invalid and upheld NMS as a legal entity.
And so today you say NMS is the right thing that happened
for Nairobi.
For Nairobi.
That I can say for free. Anytime, any day.
In terms of its deliverables, what would you count? Because when you say it's done better, when you say it's something that's a good model for Nairobians, what do you want to inform Nairobians, particularly what they don't know? Because people just hear about boreholes being sunk, people hear about, there is this and this and that, but sometimes you don't even see them. As a county assembly member, what would you point out if NMS is a real deal for Nairobians?
Personally, number one, I've traveled the world, and I know how cities should look like. And I'm also one person who likes exercising every weekend. I run not less than 15 kilometers every Sunday.
Are you representing Kenya in the Olympics in July in Japan or what?
No. I tell guys I don't run for Olympics because the first team has been selected in Kenya. Even the second team, even the amateur team has been selected. I do for physical fitness, and I'm a footballer.
Great.
For my physical fitness and mental mind.
Yeah.
Each day I run. I come and park in my car. I run to Quickmart, turn, go back, run to Givenchy. When I run on those cabros, it reminds me of Slovakia as a city. That there are some tenets of a city which should be observed. There is no way a city inside the city is a pothole. There are no cabros in a city. NMS has changed the face. When you come from Makongeni, when a resident of Makongeni who is a Sukumawiki mama seller, when he walks to Makongeni to town from Kencom today, he sees a difference. What's happening here? It gives us pride as a city under the sun. Pride of having a city that is well taken care of. That's number one. Number two, personally, I represent people. When NMS came today, if you go to Botella, you'll find a new clinic in Botella. As I'm speaking to you, if you go to St. Apollo's Primary, in my ward, there is a new field for football. Okay? If you go to my ward, I have 4 boreholes sunk to supplement Nairobi water, supply of water. As I'm speaking to you, I am doing about 2.7 kilometers of tarmac road in my ward. Okay? I am doing another field at Makongeni grounds for sportsmen. But since Sonko was elected in 2017, I could not even stay from my ward. I could not. Because I had done absolutely nothing.
Now, are you suggesting that...
I'm also proposing you, if you have to see the magnanimity upon which development is being executed, just walk to Mukuru. You know, we don't only count ourselves because we live on this side of the world.
Yeah.
If you go the Mukuru kwa Jenga of 2019 and the Mukuru kwa Jenga of now, you'll appreciate humanity as a human being. That this is why humanity should be appreciated irrespective of your status in the society. For the first time when I went to Mukuru kwa Jenga, I found young kids riding skates in a kijiji.
In Mukuru kwa Jenga.
In Mukuru kwa Jenga. They don't buy water. Free water.
At least for the first time since independence.
Since independence.
Yeah.
That's the essence of democracy. And more importantly, caring for those who cannot be able to hold themselves. And that's NMS. I take you to the bus park here. And you see last week I said, NMS will not do things just because of doing. Last week I said, when the Director General was hospitalized, some scrupulous businessmen came and designed a petrol station inside a bus park. And I stopped. And I came on a press conference and said, no, you will not create for us another Sachangwani in Nairobi. In history all over the world, I have never seen a bus terminus with a petrol station inside it. I have never seen. And I called them out.
It's recipe for disaster.
And immediately the Director General came back from hospital and said, no, what's happening here? This is the spirit that we need in terms of development in the city. When something is good, let's say it's good. When something's wrong somewhere, let's say it's wrong.
NMS, how is its relationship with the County Assembly of Nairobi? Are you guys working in harmony? Are you guys finding moments of connection with the NMS better than it was with the Sonko administration?
I have a problem when people want a relationship in terms of governance. It's not a love affair. What I want from NMS, I want to see Nairobi develop. And the work of the Assembly is not to have a relationship with the NMS. The work of Assembly is, number one, to approve budget lines for NMS. Number two, to make sure all the projects under the CIDP and ADP has been implemented. Because there is no...
CIDP to mean what now?
It's called... CIDP is a 5-year plan.
It's a master plan.
It's a master plan for 5 years. Okay. The government initiates.
Yeah.
And then ADP is annual.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So you cannot make a development without following that document that we passed before the Assembly. Okay?
Okay.
We do it with 5 years plan, and then annual plan. Our work under the implementation committee to make sure that NMS does not implement any project outside the CIDP and outside the ADP. I get it.
So are you happy up to now that they are following that to the letter?
They are following the letter.
Okay.
For instance, the Ward Development Fund that distributes development across the wards. Our work is MCS to propose the projects we want.
Yeah.
The work of NMS is to give engineers.
Yeah.
Engineers go to the ground to do BQs and quantify the works and then procure the works. What I need to see in my ward is a road. I don't need to go to NMS office from morning to evening. And my work is to see that road was built. Is it in tandem with the bill of quantities?
Yeah.
Or it was said 200 millimeters of tarmac, and then the contractor comes and put 100 millimeters of tarmac. That's my oversight role comes from there.
Okay.
That's why my oversight role comes from there. So basically, we don't need a relationship. We need a working formula. That you do your job, I do my job.
I oversight you, you implement. Yes, it's not going to be any lesser than this. It's going to be even better, because we are here with none other than the MCA Makongeni, Peter Imwatok himself, the chief whip of the minority side in the county assembly. Yes, he's bringing it out the way it is. Apparently, is the guy who initiated the fall of Goliath, Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Reasons is given, and now Nairobians are better informed. Kenyans are even now knowledgeable. We are going for a short break. When we come back, we'll be on with this. Remember, it's not spoken about matters BBI, and if they got the car grant from the president, all this will be mentioned here.
And I took it.
Kama inyise hera tuke mamit putu chenro moko ma igombo neno seche te.
I want you out of my house.
Weche mag tuke, ng'eyo thuondi mopogre opogre, los mor mari e odi nikech gik mabeyo lilo. Yudore mana e DSTV.
Bende ing'eyo ni koro inyalo kawo insurance mar ngimani mondo mi okony joodi kapo nono ni masira oyudi kata tuo gore kuomi. Kaw insurance mar ngima mar joodi mondo mi inigi ngima maber e kinde mabiro. Keno mari mar insurance en kungo mari ma inyalo chuli bang' kosebedo mabup. Bede ot, gengri kendo irit ngima mari. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Yes, welcome back, viewer, wherever you are. It's that moment again that we meet for the second part of this show, the Cardinal Talk Show. As you've heard, it's only matters, Cardinal, that are being discussed here. These matters are very weighty matters in terms of what Nairobi is going through in its present state, in terms of politics, governance, and more importantly, its economic position, as it were. However, we must also get to a situation where we want to hold accountable our leaders, like we have Mheshimiwa Imwatok, who is the MCA for Makongeni and also is the chief whip for ODM party in the county assembly. Yes, Mheshimiwa,
Yep.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
Now, as you look at things, the way they go on in Nairobi County, one keeps wondering, with the rising population in Nairobi and how things are happening very fast, Nairobians are getting jittery about some of the policies. Are they laws that you guys are they laws that you guys pass in Parliament of Nairobi, where land rates keep on rising in this city? It's becoming a dream never to come true, because when you want land in Nairobi, is like you're investing the entire fortune of your land, of your life. And even if you're doing, if you have a premise, if you have to pay this rate, they are becoming so exorbitant. What is wrong about this? Can't this matter be reviewed? Can't it be made even more affordable for our people? The land rates.
My brother, everything, a government must be able to understand what these people are going through. From the onset, I've said the Jubilee government in Nairobi County did not have an iota what Nairobians want. Remember when Sonko came into power, he said the parking will be free. How much are you paying parking today?
300 shillings.
Before that was?
It was about 150 shillings.
It's the same thing in the land rates issue. In fact, they brought for us the valuation roll. Was it in September last year? Trying to rise again the rates through a valuation roll, which was redone in 1987 to increase more. But you refused as an assembly. And you said, go back critically and look at this. It's unfair for a capital city. If you're a middle class earner, you cannot be able to afford a plot and do a house because you are told in terms of multi-millions. And no bank can trust a middle class earner, a young man of 25 years who's just a teller in the bank, to have 50 million to buy a 33 by 60 plot. If you buy a 33 by 60 plot and you don't have money to construct that plot, you end up being auctioned again.
It's of no use.
It's of no use. So it depends on the government of the day. For instance, I ask people of Nairobi, the essence of every government, number one, is to create opportunities for its people. Which opportunities has the current Jubilee government in Nairobi created to any Nairobian? If a government cannot provide analytic numbers of job opportunities created to the young people in a county, what's the use of that government? If the government cannot bring a tabulation of increment in terms of housing program, leave about the national government, we're talking about a county government to be accountable to its people. Why should that government be there? That's why we convince even the Jubilee themselves that the head of your government running a county government is not able. Currently, NMS has come into play. If you go to Pangani, the housing program going up. If you go to Upper Hill, there's a housing program going up. They can account and say, within these 2 years of the deed of transfer, we built 40,000 housing units as a metropolis service department. If you ask the NMS, how much do you raise in terms of land rates? They cannot tell you exact figures. Why? The previous administration did not map out exactly, if this is a revenue stream, how many people pay rates and how many do not pay rates. Why? Because some of the landowners and the developers end up paying scrupulous cartels on approvals and all this vis-a-vis paying the government. Yeah. And then the Wananchi says outside there, it's expensive, the rates are expensive, approvals in the county government are expensive, that you must pass through a particular MCA or a particular person for you to get approval from the county government. That's not the way a capital city can run. I expect a capital city to run under systems. All of us are privileged to travel. Yeah. You will not find this shenanigans that you must have to carry an approval plan on your Lolwe Tv to take somewhere. And by that time, you have to talk to somebody. That's not the way a city should run. We passed what's called a regularization bill in assembly. How to regularize all these illegalities, all these mushrooming buildings which has come up in Nairobi, which have never been planned, they have no approvals. Up to date. Has it been implemented? No. Because our work of assembly is to approve legislations and regulations and acts.
So it is the enforcement bit that is lacking.
That is lacking.
And in that bill that you passed, I think it's not in the public domain. A point of interest would be, was it captured that now buildings that were brought up illegally in wrong pieces of land must be brought down? Is it part of that?
Yes, it was part of it, that the result of regularization, you might build a building, but your building is okay. It's just because people fear to come to the county to get approvals because of the cartels mushrooming in the planning sector. And somebody decided to draw his house, get an engineer, do a 4-story building, a very firm house. But you see, outside that house, there's another makeshift there. I get it. That's why we say it in the act, that regularize your plans. Bring your plan that you build, come to the county government, the engineers go and assess it, and give you approval plan. You know you cannot go to a bank to borrow in a bank. if your building has no approval plan from the county government.
Of course, yeah.
So you see, most of developers cannot progress in Nairobi because they cannot go to the bank even to borrow and build another building because of the same issues that we are raising in the county government.
Now, talking about what you mentioned as regularization, you know, everybody wonders in Nairobi. We look at a city that is so jumbled, a city that lacks totally no planning at all, a city that you'd see high-rise buildings this time going up to 15, 18 stories, like around Kilaleshwa area, which at some moment, some time in the past, was actually a controlled development area. Right now, everything is mushrooming there. You don't even know what is coming up, what it's going to be like, and within no time, that place will be congested like hell. I don't know whether it's part of your role to also ensure that there are areas and spaces in Nairobi that are protected for what they used to be.
If you read that regularization bill, it captured all this. There are areas that you cannot do beyond 10 floors. There are areas you cannot do beyond 5 floors. There are areas you only build townhouses. You're not allowed to build anything beyond 1 floor. So it boils down to administrative point of view. If I'm a governor today and a developer comes to me and tells me I want to do 14-story building in Kileleshwa, and I know, because I'm the custodian of all instruments of power, and I know that that place is a controlled area, the highest is 10 floors. But because this man has come with somebody else, with a briefcase on me, I allow him. The moment I allow the first one, I have opened a Pandora box
For the next and
for the next, and the next, and the next. That's basically what's happening in this county. That's why I said the Jubilee administration in this county then, and even now under the Jubilee, it's still a mistake. Apart from NMS, which the president, I think he cued himself well, as it's trying to remove the Jubilee administration from this, that, but we're not saying NMS is not a Jubilee. NMS is a national entity. It's not a Jubilee affair. That's why I tell them every and then, Jubilee has not,
of course, appointed by a Jubilee government.
But the Major General, you remember,
Yeah.
in the Armed Forces Act, the army officers and commanders do not
Subscribe to any
subscribe to anybody. They subscribe to the Constitution of the Republic.
Okay, I think then you should do more. If your role is legislation, I think you should even now get people. I don't know what you do to make this thing actually get to the point of implementation. And if the executive wing is sleeping on this, I believe your powers are not ended by just passing the legislation. You can do something better. I don't know what, but I think you should also be creative as members of the county assembly to ensure that this sleeping administration wakes up and gives services to the
Let me be a reason why these things cannot be implemented. In 2000, Nairobi population during the daytime was about 1.5 million. At night was about 1 million.
That's about 20 years ago.
20 years ago. In 1998, the population of Nairobi during daytime was about 2.5 million. At night, 1.5 to 2 million. Now, as you're speaking, the population of Nairobi during daytime is about 6 million. At night, it's about 4.5 to 5 million. Look at this. In 2000, the number of employees by the city council then were 20,000. In 1998, there were about 16,000. Now, it is 9,000. Even if you want to enforce, do you have the capacity to do enforcement? And the population, the last employment from Nairobi County government was 1998. How many years down the line?
About 23 years.
Meaning the workforce in the county government itself.
They're badly understaffed.
Understaffed. Beyond understaffed, they are old. That's what I'm saying. A government which cannot create an employment to replenish its system of governance, it's in a problem. That's why all this is thriving.
But you guys you guys also have opportunities to employ guys every financial year. Why don't you bring in young people?
Do you know why?
Why are you bringing old guards?
Yeah, do you know why?
Yeah.
Because simple. The budget we passed in the county assembly, for instance, the last budget of 37 billion, is not practical. Our revenue collection terms, the highest was done during Kidero's time, which is about 13.8 billion.
Only in this city.
In this regime, currently, as you're speaking now, we are left with 1 quarter. We've collected 8.4 billion.
5 billion less.
5 billion less. Last year we stopped at 9.3 billion. Plus the collection the national government gives the county government, which is 19.6 billion. The factual budget in terms of liquidity the county government of Nairobi has is not 37 billion, it's 27 billion.
So you've got a deficit of 10 billion.
10 billion.
That you can't source from anywhere.
Which we get some about 1 billion from fuel levy. Then we get some grants, about another 1 point something billion. Basically, we have a deficit about 8 billion. Why? The revenue streams are not harnessed well. Including the planning sector. You're saying the rates. Rates are being paid to people's pockets, not to the county government, because there are no systems in place. That's why you find Major Njoroge from NMS is now trying to put systems. How do you optimally collect
revenue
in terms of planning? The rates you're complaining about. If we have rates that this county has a potential of collecting 100 billion by itself,
even more,
adverts alone can give us 40 billion in a year if you put systems in place. Planning can collect for us about 60 billion. When I looked at the new plan by the planning sector and NMS of valuation role of 0.2% of the value of your approval, we can collect 48 billion in a year from one revenue stream called planning. What if you go to health, you go to environment,
water,
you go to water? We can sustain this county without national funding. The national government owes the city council and the county government about 60 billion. But there is no leadership in the county government that can have a structural understanding and planning with the national government. How do you recoup some money from you to put onto these things we need?
Are you saying that also during your time when your governor Kidero was there, it was also unable to even get just half of that money ordered to the Nairobians by the national
government? By the way,
I
must give kudos to Kidero. It tried. I was part of the government then. It tried to give negotiations. But remember, then the national government was run by the government. We're in opposition, when the county assembly were the majority.
So
that is another mistake that we need to correct as Africans.
Yeah.
It should not matter who is in echelon of power, the highest power. Yeah. What should matter, what can Kenyans
service to the people.
Doesn't matter which position I have. But what should matter, in my position, do I serve all Kenyans as equal? That's why for me, I'm a very proud man. Coming from Teso, coming to Makongeni, being elected twice now, they don't see me as a Teso. They see me what I have in between my ears and what I can do for them. If they could have seen Imotok as Teso, I could have never been called a minority leader. But the people of Makongeni from childhood, they saw this young man can do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is it because they didn't care about your minority status? Perhaps they cared about your Mtuamta status.
I don't think so.
You grew up in Makongeni?
I grew up in Makongeni.
Yeah, boy wa mtaa.
No, I grew up in Makongeni. I was a watchman with my fellow young people from Kenya Railways. I've washed clothes in Makongeni. We've done hawking in Makongeni. We've done all this.
Yeah.
We've done everything, virtually what a young man can do. But you see, coming out now being a terrorist and saying, guys, I want to lead you. I remember one mother telling me, are you serious?
Yeah.
And now here, my party leader says, Imotok, not just leading Makongeni.
With this party.
With my party.
Great, congratulations.
It's a great achievement.
That's a great achievement for somebody who just came from the very, very from low places. Now, I want to speak to something here.
Perfect.
Are you in agreement with the fact that all elected leaders in these coming elections must have at least university degrees?
On your face, yes, it should be.
Exactly. You want it?
What I can, maybe for purposes of advising, as a nation, you must also look at the nation in a larger picture. I am just disturbed where a capital city like Nairobi can have a class 2 dropout as a member of the county assembly. And that class 2 dropout wants me as a whip to place him in the committee of budget. Okay? I'm just thinking loud. We travel foreign trips. For instance, we go Agro City in Sweden with the water committee. And that person, that water committee, does not even understand what Agro City means in a capital city. Maybe my exception to this.
Okay, you say it doesn't understand what Agro City is and is an MCA in the capital city.
Yes. My understanding, we have the Ministry of Planning, which has entire statistics about our country, county by county, in terms of education literacy, poverty index, the population index. They have it. We can map this country and put in our constitution. If those people are clamoring today to amend the BBI, could be speaking about how do we make sure Turkana is represented according to its setup. And how Nairobi can be represented according to setup, I may be able to agree with them. But what they are talking about is something out of context. It's chauvinistic attitude.
So, in this context, you feel it's supposed to be mapped out. It's not supposed to be degrees in a blanket kind of position.
I think if there's only negotiation I can have with the whoever who wants to oppose this, I can go that way. But honestly, Nairobi, a capital city, having a leader who has not stepped to class,
is it class or having a college degree?
Let me tell you.
Is it class or having
there is a situation when we are sworn in, a member was given a booklet for swearing in, the oath of office. And when he found a place where he say, I, Peter, the guy said 1-.
So he read I as 1.
I as 1. And said -. Then he kept quiet from there. And that's a representative of a capital city.
Even pronounced -.
Yes.
I mean the dotted lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you expect?
Okay, crazy. That's crazy.
Honestly, for us to move a country forward, we must now put, like the parliament said, they suspended this provision for 10 years. Parliament can come again and enact and say, for all capital cities, please.
Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa. You've got to have that.
If you don't have a degree, please.
Stay away.
Stay away. What are you talking about? You can, leadership is not about being an MC or being an MP. You can be also a village elder. It's a leadership. You can also be somebody who puts elders together, puts youth together to make sure community work is going on. You can be a leader.
And you must be informed.
You can be a market chairman. It's leadership.
And you must be literate.
Yeah.
Well said. Mheshimiwa M. Watoka, right here, we are moving on. And we are carrying on as I can say, I'm told it's almost over, but before it gets there, Mheshimiwa, just why must you guys fight in county assemblies? Is it again because of illiteracy?
It's just a follow-up of your question. You know,
I mean, all county assemblies must always fight to get their matters addressed. Chairs flying, blows raining, and a court as expensive as yours is torn into pieces just because you want to pass a bill or just because you want to put across a point. Why must you get to the feasts?
It boils down just the same question you asked me. I sit in the CAF.
But some of those people who fight, like even you're somebody who is well learned, but you will throw your fist, you will give somebody rounders kick as though that guy is a useless piece of object. And you are an MC, an honorable person. What's wrong with you people?
Let's see, if you can't define the word honorable, you cannot be honorable yourself.
Okay.
As I said, I sit in CAF. CAF is an umbrella of all MCs in Kenya. By virtue, I'm the president of all sports in East and Central Africa.
Okay.
I sit in that body. The same question was thrown to me. And I told among all the people, including governors were in Naivasha, governors was trying to say, you know what? I said, no. People must go to school. If you knew you were going to vie 2022, and there was a provision in Parliament that an election act, it was suspended for 10 years. And you've done your form for, you have a C-, a C, even if you have a D, you could have started from a certificate level.
To diploma.
In 6 years, you have a degree. But you can't come when elections almost after suspending. By the way, I'll look at Parliament as a house of jokes if they try to suspend again. Because we'll never be a country of progress.
They'll possibly suspend it again. Because
I'm looking to, I'll tell them on their face, this is a joke.
They probably suspend it again.
If, come to your question, why do people fight?
Yeah.
It depends where you are raised.
Come on.
Depends where you are raised. Because some of us,
all of us were raised in Nairobi.
The way you are
raised in Nairobi,
the way I'm raised,
yeah.
I'm raised, if I have an issue with you, number one,
yeah.
If I'm so much annoyed, I have to take 2 glasses of water.
Okay. That's what you were taught.
That's what I'm taught by my mother. To relax my nerves.
So all these MCAs who throw kicks and rain blows were never brought up properly.
It depends how they.
It's crazy. All county assemblies. If you go to Homa Bay, it's crazy. If you go to Nairobi, it's even worse. If you go to
the Supreme House of this country must demystify and have a study and do a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
Why is it so? It boils down to a second last question. Do we have leaders with the capacity to discern between physique and mental mind?
And consultation.
It is happening. It is happening. It's not, I'm a leader of opposition, Nairobi.
Yeah.
Even my own party.
Yeah.
There are members who believe at some points we don't have to reason.
You have to square it
physically. But after that, they rush again to my office, whip. Tumekosea bwana. Tutafanya nini hapa? But boss, why? How do you even feel your kid watching you boxing a woman?
Imagine,
you're
a father, you're a husband,
and you know
you're a leader elected.
And you know it's funny. And I tell Kenyans with honesty, with respect, you'll find all that's been fueled because of 20,000, 10,000 somewhere. It's not for free. You ask yourself, is it really worth for Kenyans to wake up at 5, engineers, doctors, professional journalists like you queue at 5, go to elect Peter, and then what you can see on national TV, Peter is tearing a woman's clothes. A woman equivalent to your elder sister or your mother.
Too bad, eh?
It's too bad.
Now,
do you have ethos in our country? What do we believe in? What is the rallying creed in our hearts?
Maybe it's an all-round aspect of wanting to see how a human being is brought up. Like you just said, you are bringing, you are schooling, you are everything. You don't
believe being an MCA for fights. It's your bringing. It's not about being an MCA.
No problem. Now, did you receive your grant from the president, your car grant for passing BBI? I mean, all the MCAs in the country, 1,500 of you guys were promised car grants.
2,000 MCAs.
2,000 now, yeah? Yes. MCAs across the country. Yeah. Have you gotten your car from the dealer?
I've just drove in with the car.
Is it the one I'm saying?
I received a car grant. I didn't receive.
I didn't
receive money grants. I received a car grant, not money grant.
It must have been some deadly.
It's executive car there.
Executive.
I'll thank the president for that. Because let's also have a nation that believes in its own creed. You cannot have a constitution that believes on the Bill of Rights for a section of people. Yeah. And others see this Bill of Rights does not suit you.
So that's Parliament, National Parliament versus County Assembly.
You know, it's a replica. They say parliaments, county assemblies are replicas of national parliament.
First stop.
Why does this come to disparities? You know why? The oversight role becomes a challenge to an MCA who earns 144,000, and then an MP somewhere who is a class 7 dropout, earns 1.2 million, is given 5.5 million car grant, and an MCA somewhere who has a master's degree is earning 144,000, is going on a motorcycle.
Disparity.
Also another challenge I throw to this country. If worst case scenario, let's pay people according to their qualifications.
Maybe that would be better.
Yeah, let's pay people according to their qualifications.
Not because you are in a county assembly or an MCA.
Basic
and is that
minimum wage and anything else.
As we close, is that why you people in Nairobi County passed the BBI bill unanimously, because you had the car grant?
No. As in ODM, we have a creed that we believe in at any given time.
Yeah.
And we are guided by the principles of our party and our party leader.
Yeah.
When he says this is the way to go, as the whip, you go against it, I'll just have to handle you. We did as a matter of conviction that this country deserves a new chapter. Not because of Raila Odinga, it's because of my child, your child, and our children's children. And we passed it with or without the car grant. BBI Nairobi was going to pass.
Yeah, we are closing the show. It's 2 terms for you as an MC in Nairobi County Assembly.
Yes.
What's your next step? Are you still going back to Makongeni? Are you going for a member of parliament, a governor, or even a presidential candidate? Where must we see you next year?
I'm going for the governor of Nairobi.
Say it again.
Governor of Nairobi, 2022.
Governor of Nairobi.
Yep.
Am I just talking to the next governor of Nairobi?
Exactly. From your mouth, God's ears.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. Brother, go for it.
I'm already on it. If you see all this noise, Nairobi,
Yeah.
you know.
Go for it.
For it.
It's been wonderful having you around.
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much for having
grateful.
found time to come to Lolwe TV to share with us all these insights from the Nairobi County Assembly.
Anytime.
And to the viewer, it's also been wonderful having you along. I've been your host all this long. I'm Nick Okello. Thank you for watching the Cardinal Talk Show. Until next Sunday again, it's gonna be blazing all the way.
Thank you. Nice show.